She found out that I was a Mormon, and in Russia, they kind of see us as a cult. So she was super nervous, and she didn't even want to meet up with me because she was afraid that I was going to sell her organs.
What did he say?
Solid, it's going back to the #1 YouTube channel in the entire world. Today we're talking about Steven and Alina on the new season of 9 Day Fiancé, The Other Way. I'm so excited to talk about them because this dude's Mormon. And there's actually a lot of Mormons in Las Vegas, which is where I grew up. I have a lot of Mormon friends. And honestly, out of all the religions, they handle getting shit on the best. They do so with a smile, and they just do this awkward laugh like, it's okay. Anyway, do you want to hear about the good news? And honestly, I like that. Like, I love Mormon people. They're funny as f. As you guys are aware, our community is like the Cobra Kai of YouTube. Absolutely no mercy is given. So we are gonna start reviewing this couple and roast the f out of them. So let's see them right now. I'm eager to meet Steven and Alina. Let's just roll the clip.
My hair looking okay?
Always. Yeah.
Sick. Always.
When we first meet Steven, he gives us some insight about the Book of Mormon. I just want to say, if you guys haven't seen the play on Broadway, I definitely recommend it. It is absolutely hilarious, and it's from the makers of South Park, so you know you're going to be laughing the entire time. Steven goes on to say that because of the panorama, he just has church meetings at his house with his family.
I kind of am for bugs not being killed because, you know, they have spirits too.
It's a very good you allow Rita to eat with you.
Steven goes on to say that when he was 19, he went on a mission. Like most good Mormon boys, they go on a mission for 2 years, which is a great thing because it's like a built-in study abroad program for their religion, and they get to preach the good word. A lot of my friends went on mission, and so the ones that went to South America, everything that moved, and honestly, someone snitched on them and they got in a lot of trouble, and it was like a slap on the wrist. So yeah, they kind of got off scot-free for that, but you're not supposed to, I guess, have sex with girls while on mission. Right away, comment below what you guys think about Alina. I think she's a pretty girl, and honestly, Steven does not look bad. He's starting to get the same kind of flow I have, which is kind of bugging me out because I feel like this dude ripped off my sense of style, but I don't think he watches anime, so I think we're good. So this girl, much like Anfisa from 9 Day Fiancé, is Russian, and that's great. So Steven actually learned Russian. First impression of Steven, he kind of seems like a square. He said that he said something flirtatious to Alina, and it was, "Can I have your number?" And he said it with a lisp. Like, I'm not even kidding, I can't make this up. I'll be honest, when this dude said he said something flirtatious to her, I thought it would be a pickup line like, "Yo, I wouldn't score you a 10, I'd score you an 8 because I'm into you. Hey girl, you Gorilla Glue? Because I can't get you off my head." I'll be honest, thought he was gonna lead with some boy shit. Didn't. Just said, "Hi, can I have your number?" And I guess it worked, which I don't know how that worked, but it did. So dudes, before we continue reviewing this cringe couple on the show, I'd like to tell you about today's video sponsor, Powerswabs. If you guys are wondering how my teeth are so white, it's because of Powerswabs. They're very easy to use. I'm gonna tell you how to use them right now. So first, use a stain out swab to remove stains from natural teeth and or veneers. I do not have veneers, by the way. A lot of people have wondered about that. I had braces on for about 8 months. Now for the second step, use the ultra white swab. The ultra white swab uses carbamide peroxide to whiten the animal surface by an average of 6 shades in 7 days. Step 1 is to support the tube body with one hand and firmly pinch the rim with the other hand, initiating a break. Step 2 is to bend the stick back and forth lightly. Step 3 is to separate the swab and the tube and then apply. These swabs are clinically tested to whiten your teeth 2 shades in the first 5 minutes. And like I said earlier, 6 shades in 7 days. The swabs work to lift stains off natural teeth as well as caps, crowns, and veneers. And I want to reiterate the fact that stains are removed, they're not just covered up. Not to mention that this is way cheaper than going to the dentist. Anytime you go to the dentist to get your teeth whitened, usually it can cost between $500 and $1,000. My favorite part about using Powerswabs is that I'm always in a rush and it only takes 5 minutes. It's not the same as those bleaching trays or strips that are really messy and you can't eat with them in, they taste terrible. Like, this is just such an easy, convenient way to whiten your teeth, which is why I really am happy that they're sponsoring today's video. If you guys are interested in ordering Powerswabs, click the link in the bio of this video. Thanks again to them for sponsoring us, and now let's go back to reviewing this cringe couple on the show.
She found out that I was a Mormon, and in Russia, they kind of see us as a cult.
Yo, it's not just Russia, bro. We all think you're a cult. You guys think that the Garden of Eden is in Missouri, bruh. The only thing in Missouri is meth and bad food.
He makes a fair point.
Yo, guys, comment below how much ass you think Steven crushes daily. Can I have your number? Probably a lot of ass. In Russia, they think we're a cult. Homie is trolling. I don't think anyone, to be fair, out of all the religions, I don't think anyone gets made fun of more than Mormons. Even the Scientologists make fun of Mormons.
I'm just telling you right now, okay? Just Put your manners back in.
Also, it's like the soaking method versus just having sex. And you can have anal sex, but you can't have vaginal sex. Like, there's all these loopholes, and it doesn't make any sense. Also, you guys let black people into the religion, like, what, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Fact check me on that, because I don't know if that's true.
Yo, Nick, my guy, I got you, dude. Here, let me look this up real quick. It says, according to Goggle, that from the mid-1800s until 1978, the LDS church prevented most men of black African descent from being ordained to the church's lay priesthood, barred black men and women from participating in the ordinances of its temples, and opposed interracial marriage.
Okay, would you be interested in the message about Jesus Christ?
Ew. Get out of here, man.
And then what happened with BYU? Your guys' football team was ass, so you decided to recruit all the Samoans? Yo, we know.
So she was super nervous, and she didn't even want to meet up with me because she was afraid that I was going to sell her organs.
Do Russians have like really good organs?
Whoa, that boy sus. What was that laugh? Do Russians have good organs? Yo, this girl's really gonna move over here and stay at this dude's house. I don't know about that. I would swerve so fast if I was this chick.
I totally want to cut off your skin and wear it to my birthday. It's coming up.
So in order to break the ice and convince Alina that he was not planning on selling her organs, he decided it would be a good idea to go on a date and also bring their mothers so that their mothers could meet and he could reassure them that he's not going to sell their organs. And then he went on to say this.
It's kind of silly. I feel like it'd be just as easy to kidnap two people, but it made her comfortable, and then she agreed.
Well, Stephen, we've got to know each other for about 2 minutes, and I can tell that you're not very good at picking up social cues. But when you say something like, I feel like it'd just be as easy to kidnap two people instead of one, that's not really reassuring me that this girl's gonna be safe with you. You know what, screw it. Steven's actually starting to grow on me. He's so awkward and weird that I think he's actually somewhat lovable. He goes on to say that when he first saw Alina in person, they ran into each other's arms. He loves walking around with her, shows a lot of images of them going on dates, and just really keeps reassuring us that they are legit and in this for the right reasons. And to be honest with you, it's shocking to me because I feel like I just went to Ukraine and yo, I'll be real about it. A lot of the girls there are super materialistic. I actually found one that was really fire and wasn't materialistic the last day. So that's cool, but usually like a lot of the Russian girls, Ukrainian girls are somewhat materialistic. Steven says that they had the most magical first date ever. Now, while he's saying this, he's showing a lot of pictures of their travels, which is kind of a red flag for me because here's the thing. It's kind of like, have you ever seen that show, The Bachelor? You know how like when they're dating on the show, they're having the best time ever because the show's paying for them to go to all these bomb locations around the world and they're traveling and it's like, oh my God, I'm catching feelings for this person. I love this person within a month. And it's just really that high of traveling, going to all these nice places. It's different being on the show or like, for example, in his case, being in Europe and going to all these different places because tickets are really cheap here. So like there was a picture of them in Copenhagen. I saw that because I've been there before and he showed a lot of different pictures. Yo, that's sick. But what's gonna happen when you have to move in your mom's basement, like back home and you're back with mom and dad? You guys aren't gonna be traveling everywhere. And that's the thing, like she's gonna come over to live with you guys. I don't see how this Russian girl is gonna enjoy that. And that would actually be easier for him to go to Russia. But at the same time, like how is he gonna make a livable wage in Russia? Because for those of you that don't know, Russians usually like stick to themselves. Like it's hard for people to come in and like get jobs when it's already a struggle for a lot of Eastern Europeans to make good money in their countries. Coming over as an American, it's kind of a struggle, to be honest with you. So I feel like he would have to have a social media job. I think that's probably the best option for this kid. It's still too early to tell, so we're gonna keep it going. Also, I can't be the only one that thinks that they're so similar to Brandon and Julia. Like, it just feels like Brandon and Julia 2.0, or they recasted Brandon and Julia because it's just too similar. Now, positive for Steven is that he speaks Russian, so at least he can communicate with her in her native tongue. And I don't know of another couple that can do that, to be honest with you. Like usually on the show, the Americans just speak English. So for him to be able to speak to her in Russian, that's big. We got to know a little bit about Steven. Now let's get to know more about Alina. This is Princess Alina. She's 20 years old and she lives in Russia. So Alina mentions that she's interested in makeup and body art. So she's probably a James Charles subscriber or a Jeffree Star subscriber or a Nikki Tutorial subscriber, who by the way is Dutch. Did you guys know that? I'm in the Netherlands right now. So like, that's really dope because like, I don't know where I was going with that. Something I find insanely strange about Alina is that in university, she's studying Asian politics and the Chinese language. I just don't really know why you would be studying the Chinese language and Asian politics if you weren't planning on being like a translator or having some kind of career in an Asian country. So that is just weird. Like that, like what's the point of going to university and getting a degree that you're not gonna use? You know what I'm saying? Like you've already invested, what, 2 years of your life at university? I feel like maybe don't give up on your dreams to go and live with this Mormon kid in the basement. I'll be honest right away, I don't think Alina should put her dreams on hold for a man, especially Steven, because he's not financially independent. He is part of the church. And I feel like his whole life, because his parents have forced religion down his throat, he has grown up with that follower mentality. So for this kid to break away from that and to prioritize this girl over religion, I personally don't see it happening. So this girl's basically saying that she's putting her life on hold to prioritize Steven, and then it shows a clip of Steven and he's like, look, a rainstorm, I'm gonna go play in it, woo! So right away, I think this kid is way more immature than Brandon is, and that says a lot. Alina says that her first impression of Steven was that he was very handsome and he jokes around a lot and she thinks he's really funny, and honestly, she just sounds like she's gushing over this guy. Then she says that she loves Steven and she can't wait to reunite with him. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but this couple has been together for a year. I think it's important to know how long they've been together, so that's why I threw that out there.
In 3 days, I'm leaving for Turkey to be with Steven, and I know that my family are worried.
All right, I'm assuming it's Istanbul where they're gonna meet up. I just want to say real quick, she has good genes in her family. Her mother and grandmother both look very young and they look good, honestly, so I think she's gonna age well. One thing I'm a little confused about is why they have subtitles on her when her English is really good. Like, legit, some of the best English that I've heard from a foreigner on the show.
Вкусный борщ. У мамы всегда получается. Спасибо.
Yo, I don't know what Borsch is, so I'm gonna look that up real quick because I'm interested. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys foodies? Like, I always want to know what somebody's snacking or eating on. And yeah, all my friends, honestly, my friends are Indian, Pakistani. So lately, I've been getting that good food here in the Netherlands. My friend Shah eats chicken kebab every day though, and it's like, bro, you gotta try other too. Okay, for everyone that was wondering, Borsch is a soup made with beetroot and usually served with sour cream, associated with the cuisine of Eastern and Central Europe, especially Russia, Poland, and Ukraine.
Мы же изначально планировали, в принципе, что Стивен приедет сначала сюда, в Россию.
My mom met Steven when we were in Prague only for 1 week.
Он для меня темная лошадка.
So because Steven's in a cult, he's not allowed to go to Russia. I'm just kidding. I don't even know if Americans are allowed to go there or not. The point being that the mother feels like she doesn't know Steven well enough yet to send her daughter over to Turkey to meet up with him. I feel like Turkey, like Istanbul is a relatively safe place. I do think though that a girl traveling alone, like I understand why the mother would be concerned, because a girl traveling alone anywhere, like there's sus dudes out there, you know what I mean? So I totally understand where she's coming from. Anyways, that's enough talky. Let's play that clip where Steven admits that he's not a virgin, but he wants to wait until marriage to have sex with Alina.
Chastity is a commandment within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint. If she wants to be baptized, the bishop may frown upon cohabitation before marriage. And I think for now, I want to play it safe and get 2 separate places.
Comment below what you guys think about Steven. I think he's even creepier than Big Ed is. Like, he throws really weird energy out there. I also feel like it's high-key weird that you're so adamant about not sleeping in the same place as your fiance. Like, you guys are planning to get married. You can have enough self-control to not absolutely slap those cheeks. So I feel like you should just live together in the same place. Like, you really want this girl to fly to Istanbul and live alone?
I can stay at your place just the first night. I can sleep on the couch over there. And then the second night, I'll go over to the hostel and you can see how you feel when you're by yourself.
Don't you think that it sounds stupid?
When Steven says this, I like that Alina stands up for herself and speaks her mind, and she says, yo, Steven, don't you think that's really weird? I like that because some people on the show take the backseat and just kind of like take the manipulation or let the guy dictate things. Not Alina, and I respect that. That kind of reminds me of Yara, because I feel like Yara would absolutely say the same thing and speak up and be like, yo, absolutely not, I'm not doing that, and that's mad weird. The next thing Alina says raises a lot of red flags. She says that Steven sees a lot of girls and often asks her if it's okay for him to go on dates with these girls, yet with her, he wants to live in separate apartments.
Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I personally think it's weird. One, if these girls are just friends, why is he asking permission to hang out with them? Also, if he's such a goody Mormon boy, why is he hanging out with so many girls? It doesn't add up.
I just am afraid that if we're living together, we might accidentally have sex.
I'm just afraid if we live together, we might accidentally have sex. like that breathing after, this guy is really creepy. I'll be real about it. Like, I would feel so uncomfortable if I was this girl. Yo, dude, you can have self-restraint and not absolutely just take off your pants and rip this girl's clothes off and go Conan the Barbarian style. You can have self-control, and I feel like that's a really weird reason to not want to live with your fiance or the person you're planning on spending the rest of your life with.
Потому что ты очень сексуальная. And I think you agree with me that I think we want to wait until marriage to have sex.
You know, when you grab a woman's breast and you feel it and it feels like a bag of sand.
You can control yourself.
You're very sexy, Alina, so I think I'd have a hard time.
How is this guy a real person? You know what he reminds me of? You guys ever seen Napoleon Dynamite? You ever seen Kip? Damn it, Napoleon. He's so awkward. Also, why are you asking your girl for permission to go on dates with other girls? Yo, dude, hate to be that guy, but if you want to go on dates with other girls, why are you going on the show with Alina? Why are you planning on spending the rest of your life with Alina if you want to do, then be with the other girls? I don't know why you're on the show. I think the funniest thing about Steven is that I've actually met Mormon kids like this, and there's a lot of guys like this at BYU, and anyone that goes to BYU will back me up on that. It's one of those hypocritical things to where you basically are saying you don't want to be around this girl or live in the same place because they're too sexy, but you don't want to have sex with them.
For me, the hardest thing about my religion has been the law of chastity, and it's just something that I am very tempted by.
See, this is why I like the Netherlands, because everything's legalized here. If there's a lot of sexually frustrated dudes, they can just go walk the red light district, wear a hoodie, and not be creepy weirdos, you know? It's one of those things where when you're a sexually frustrated dude and you're acting all weird, weird stuff happens. You know, those are the kids that finally explode and do something really foul to girls, you know? It's not good to be like that or have sex on your mind at all times. And I feel like I would recommend Steven jerks off once or twice a day and stops being a creep. You guys ready for the tea because it's piping hot? It turns out that Steven had sex with somebody before. He's had sexual relationships in the past, and he even admits to that. Yet with Alina, he says, you're too sexy. I'm too afraid to be in the same place with you because you're so sexy. She's so sexy that you don't want to have sex with her, but you've had sex with other girls in the past. Make it make sense, homie, all right? It's so manipulative to be like that. Like, this guy is a classic manipulator, and he's a classic little good church boy now. Yo, if you've had sex with people already, why aren't you gonna have sex with the girl that you're planning on spending the rest of your life with? Steven goes on to say something, and they play dramatic music in the background. He basically says there are things that are not endorsed by the church. And then he promises Alina that he's gonna stay with her the first night. Yo, thanks for staying with your girl the first night in Turkey and then leaving her alone to fend for herself. Like, why would you leave your girl alone in Turkey? That sounds like a terrible idea. Have you guys been to Turkey? Yo, there's a lot of horny dudes in Turkey. I'm just being honest. Also, this girl's putting her life on hold, coming to Turkey to meet up with you, and you're really hesitant to live in the same place with her. It's so hypocritical when you've had sexual relationships in the past. Now you're a weird, awkward little church boy and you don't want to have sex with your fiance or the girl you're planning on spending the rest of your life with. Sus. Next thing you know, homie says, pinky promise, we'll talk about it when you get here in Turkey. He threw out a pinky promise. And then he says all dramatically that he wants to wait until Alina gets here to talk about his past. And he makes it so dramatic. Like, he makes it sound like it's the worst thing he's ever done in his life, having premarital sex. It's really not. I don't want to, talk shit about anybody's beliefs religion-wise, except for if you're Mormon, because, I'm just playing. No, but seriously, when you go to a car dealership, usually you drive the car before you buy it. Sex is not the same thing, but at the same time, what if you wait to have sex with somebody until you marry them and then it's bad sex? That's kind of not tight, because the physical aspect also plays a role in the relationship. It's not everything, it's not the most important thing, but it is important.
I've been waiting to confess to Alina that I'm not a virgin.
I can lock the door for the night.
In the latest episode of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Steven and Alina meet up in Istanbul. Steven sins right away by not informing Alina that he has had premarital sex, and once again says things like, "We shouldn't sleep in the same room or the devil will tempt me into banging you with my unholy cock." Steven's just like those TikToks that say, "She asked me to find her clit, but I found myself instead."
I feel like it's very understandable. I feel like everyone has those urges. If we were sleeping in the same area, it'd be a lot more tempting to Skoodilypoop.
I don't know what this girl sees in Steven. This kid calls having sex skiddly pooping. If you have to make up names for sex, you aren't mature enough to be having it. I stopped doing that in 5th grade, but I also lost my V card in 7th grade, which is a tad bit young, I guess, looking back on it. Enough about me. Anyway, the fact that he has to lock himself in another room to prevent him from having sex with her is terrifying. What's equally strange is instead of taking her to a nice dinner and being romantic, he proceeded to read scripture from the spellbook of Mormon to her on her bedside.
You look so cute in your pajamas. I was thinking before we go to bed, I brought my Russian scriptures. Let's read chapter 6.
Yeah, real quick, you guys want to hear how Steven gets off? On the 7th day, God created man. Nah, but seriously, why would you want to be around a guy that can't control himself? That's a recipe for disaster. What a romantic first night in Turkey this has turned out to be, huh, guys? I think at this point, Alina should just go to the bazaar. There's a lot of horny dudes there, and I'm sure the Turkish guys would take care of her better than Steven is. Since Steven's reading his favorite book, I'm gonna read mine. It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest, and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were given to the race of men, who above all else desired power, for within these rings was bound the strength and the will to govern each race. But all of them were deceived, for another ring was made. Deep in the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring. And into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. One ring to rule them all.
Первую ночь в Турции я представляла себе по-другому. Я думала, что мы со Стивеном будем обниматься перед сном, и я думала, это будет более мило.
Guys, let me know in the comments below what you think about this couple. I'm so excited. He's such a weird, creepy dude that I cannot wait to have new blood. You know what I mean? Because the last season, I feel like it was okay, but how many Angela videos can I make, to be honest with you? I'm the only one that was throwing shade her way. Everyone else was biased pro Angela. Yo, not this guy. And guess what, Steven? You're next on the chopping block, kid. All right? I'm gonna hold you accountable. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what you believe in. I'm coming for you, dog. It's on sight. Cut your hair, bruh. There can only be one. It's like Highlander. I'm the only one that can have this haircut. Guys, comment below, subscribe, live your friend, follow me on Twitch and on Instagram right now.